In the small suburban town of Maplewood, David Miller was the embodiment of trust. He was a diligent manager at a local logistics company, a devoted husband to his wife Lisa, and a caring father to their 10-year-old son, Noah. David had built his life around stability, believing in the sanctity of family and loyalty. He was aggressive enough in business, often using his sharp wit and tenacity to rise through the ranks. But outside the office, he prioritized family dinners and school events, feeling grateful for his comfortable existence. However, beneath the surface of this ideal life lay an insidious betrayal that would shatter David's world. It started subtly enough. Late nights at work for Lisa, a new friend from the gym, casual mentions of a project that kept her away from home. David, with his unwavering trust, brushed aside his growing unease. Believing that a strong relationship could weather any storm, the dam broke one stormy autumn evening. David returned home unannounced, intending to surprise Lisa with a takeout dinner from their favorite Thai restaurant. The moment he opened the door, however, that familiar, bitter scent of betrayal hit him like a punch to the gut. There, on the living room couch, was Lisa, tangled in the arms of Jonathan, a charismatic family friend. As David stood in the doorway, frozen in disbelief, the reality of the situation crashed over him like icy water. David tried to speak, but the words caught in his throat. Anger bubbled within him at the sight of Lisa, whose eyes widened in shock before her expression twisted into something unreadable. The two were frozen, caught in a moment that felt like an eternity as Jonathan scrambled to disentangle himself, panic flashing across his face. "What are you doing here?" Jonathan finally managed to stammer, the bravado he usually carried crumbling away under the weight of the confrontation. "I just wanted to come home to my wife," David spat, each word heavy with betrayal. "I should have known. You two were always so close." "It's not what you think," Lisa blurted out, her voice strained. "David, please, we can talk about this." "Talk?" David interrupted, placing the takeout bag down with a deliberate slowness that made Jonathan twitch. "What's left to talk about? You were supposed to be my partner, my confidant, and you," he pointed a finger at Jonathan, "are nothing but a backstabber." An ugly silence enveloped the room as the gravity of the situation sank in. David felt himself teetering on the edge of rage and despair, his heart pounding against the walls of his chest. What's worse, the betrayal from the one he loved or the laughter ringing in his ears, as respects for Jonathan dissolved into contempt. "Get out," David commanded coldly. "Both of you. I don't want to see either of you again." As they scrambled to gather their belongings, David's initial shock twisted into a razor-sharp resolve. This was a mere beginning, not an ending. With their hurried exits echoing in his ears, his mind started racing through the retaliation he would unleash on the two people who had so carelessly dismantled his world. Rather than crumble under the weight of his shattered heart, David felt like a balloon inflating with resolve. He peeled through their shared finances with a meticulous eye. Lisa had ripped apart their life together, siphoning funds to support Jonathan, whose charming smile couldn't disguise his true nature. David quickly discovered unexplained purchases, receipts, and withdrawn cash that had gone missing from accounts he thought they shared. It bubbled beneath the surface, transforming his initial despair into something sinister, vigilante-style retribution. Over the next days, the emotional turmoil settled into a cold, calculated focus. David assessed their joint bills, frozen their shared credit cards, and cut off access to their bank accounts. Lisa would find herself without a safety net, stripped of financial security, and left to face her lover's empty promises. The guilt they would feel, sinking in a societal stigma, would be deliciously overwhelming. David, harnessing the slow burn of his internal fury, began to break the news to friends and family. "It's heartbreaking, but Lisa's been unfaithful," he told neighbors, colleagues, and the local community. "Turns out, you can't trust those who play the good friends." The wave of sympathy he received turned into a swift tide, washing away both Lisa and Jonathan's reputations with a vengeance. The news of their betrayal spread like wildfire, fueled by the details David so willingly shared. Each phone call, social media post, and coffee meetup added another layer to the public shame he was crafting for them. With every retelling, David absorbed strength from his audience's disbelief, their shock turning into an understanding that was ultimately on his side. What Jonathan had thought was a stealthy affair morphed into an open scandal that ignited gossip across town. Suddenly, it was no longer just a personal betrayal. It became an act of communal judgment against the heartless, selfish relationship that had sought to undermine what David and Lisa had built together. The turn of the tides was intoxicating. To watch their world fall apart, even as he thrived in the wreckage, was a dark pleasure. One evening, as he finished up a conference call in the living room, he received a message from Jonathan requesting a meeting. David could hardly suppress a bemused smile as he realized the lover understood the gravity of their situation. Their cozy cocoon had soured, and someone was now in control. Grinning, David agreed to meet but resolved to frame it on his own terms. Standing next to a local cafe, David waited until Jonathan approached, looking uncomfortable and out of place, seemingly stripped of his earlier bravado. A quick glance revealed no trace of confidence as Jonathan shuffled closer, hands deep in his pockets, visibly sweating under the harsh afternoon sun. "I just wanted to talk, man," Jonathan opened, his voice wavering. I can explain everything." "Explain?" David chuckled, cutting him off. "What is there to explain? You decided to betray a man who trusted you. Our families, our lives intertwined. Do you think I care about your explanations?" Jonathan stammered, clearly unprepared for the depth of David's anger. "Just give me a chance to fix this." I thought, he hesitated, "I thought Lisa was unhappy." "Unhappy?" David shot back, fury lacing his words. "She was the one who decided to screw you instead of talking to me. You both burned this bridge, and now there's nothing left." The palpable tension in the air shifted as David stepped closer, towering over Jonathan, who seemed physically smaller with each word. "Your charming facade won't save you now. The community knows, and they won't soon forget." David let that sink in, the gravity of their social collapse becoming evident. Jonathan's face turned pale as the implications sank in. "You can't do this to me," he pleaded, his voice edged with desperation. "Lisa will come back to me. She loves me, and we're meant to be together." David sneered, a dark delight twinkling in his eyes. "Loves you? You really think that? She's just using you to distract herself from her own mess. You'll find out soon enough that it's not love. It's just a fleeting moment of excitement. Enjoy it while it lasts." As Jonathan's expression faltered, David knew this was just the beginning. No longer was he the victim. Now he was the architect of his future, the one coolly constructing a tower of retribution high enough to bury them both. Walking away, David felt a thrill of triumph coursing through him, an exhilaration that signified not merely survival, but a powerful awakening. He was rising from the ashes of betrayal, stepping into a life designed on his terms. There would be no mercy. Not now, not ever, until the very essence of Lisa and Jonathan's arrogance was laid bare, and the best had yet to come. As weeks passed, David dove deeper into his revenge plan, each day meticulously crafting the downfall of Lisa and Jonathan. He was no longer just a victim nursing emotional wounds. He had transformed into a strategist, operating with ruthless precision. Every interaction, every detail became fodder for his vengeance. The public backlash caught Lisa off guard. Once the golden girl at the community center, she found herself ostracized. The whispers behind her back morphed into full-blown gossip sessions. PTA meetings, once her domain, became congregations where mothers exchanged knowing glances, children picking up the residue of their parents' discussions like poisonous snacks. The same people who had once hugged her with affection now subtly dismissed her with cold, calculating glances. David took pleasure in witnessing her growing isolation. It was the bitter fruit of her betrayal, and he savored every moment. With her social circle dwindling, Lisa clung to Jonathan, hoping to shield herself with him. But even Jonathan, once so confident, began to feel the weight of David's actions. His friends whispered behind his back, avoided him at bars, and some even overtly expressed their disdain for betraying David. The thrill of their illicit romance was unraveling before their eyes, transforming into a living nightmare. Realizing the tide was turning, Jonathan made a last-ditch effort to turn the situation around. "We can make this work, Lisa," he urged one afternoon as they sat at a dingy diner, trying to escape the scrutiny of their former friends. "When this blows over, we could just leave this town together. New identities, a fresh start. I love you." His tone was desperate, barely masking his fear. He was still clinging to the hope that they could simply erase the damage done. "That's not how this works," Lisa snapped, her frustration spilling over. "You think I want to run away with you? Look at where we are! Everyone knows!" The hurt and disgust was evident in her voice, a stark contrast to the sultry whisper she had shared with him before. David's ears buzzed with the details he managed to glean from fleeting encounters, his senses sharpened like a predator. He understood the cracks forming in their facade. This was just the beginning of their unraveling, and he intended to exploit that weak foundation. With each day passing, he resided in a comfortable bubble of vindication, dutifully watching the lives of the people who had betrayed him spiral into disarray. But it wasn't enough to watch. David needed to deliver the knockout blow. He sought legal counsel, poring over documents and evidence of Lisa's infidelities. One late evening, fueled by an adrenaline high and a steady stream of caffeine, David gathered everything he needed. The incriminating bank statements, unchecked expenses, and head correspondence with Jonathan would be his bullets in a war he was determined to win. The divorce was filed with a meticulous accuracy that separated him from the emotional turmoil surrounding it. His lawyer, a sharp woman named Karen, guided him through the complexities of the process. "It's essential to frame your case around her betrayal," she advised. "We can seek significant compensation, especially given the financial impact of her actions." David nodded, feeling a flicker of satisfaction as he envisioned Lisa's face when she realized that her betrayal would cost her more than just an emotional affair. It would take away her financial independence, her security, and warp her identity into the very thing she had denied, a question of innate worth. On the day of the filing, David decided to make a public spectacle of the situation, to further humiliate both Lisa and Jonathan. He coordinated with Karen to ensure that news of the divorce was leaked strategically. The timing was impeccable. A community block party was just around the corner, and the gathering would serve as the perfect backdrop to unveil their sordid tale. With a heavy heart but a fierce grin, David scanned the crowd, noting familiar faces filled with suspense and intrigue. As evening descended, he climbed on stage under the glow of the decorative lights, microphone in hand. The anxious murmurs from the crowd crescendoed to silence. All eyes turned to him. "I want to take a moment to share a painful but necessary chapter of my life," David began, his voice unwavering. "My wife, Lisa, decided that our life together wasn't enough. She embarked on a romantic connection with someone we trusted. Jonathan." He paused, the collective gasp from the audience reverberating like a shattering glass. David continued, venom lacing his words. "They thought they could escape the consequences, but I refused to let them. I filed for divorce on grounds of infidelity, and I'm seeking everything they have put into my life into shambles." The reactions were instant and palpable, shock washing over the crowd like a tidal wave. David felt an intoxicating rush as he recounted the betrayal, the adults nodding in understanding, while some of the children looked bewildered. David redirected his speech, addressing Jonathan directly, who stood rooted to the spot. "As for you, Jonathan, I hope you understand that betrayal not only costs trust, but it takes every shred of dignity you thought you had. You may have taken my wife, but you'll never have the respect of this community again." The audience erupted into whispers and pointed fingers, casting sidelong glances at the two figures who had tried to destroy the fabric of David's life. Jonathan's face turned crimson as he processed the humiliation, while Lisa stood to the side, paralyzed by the reality unfolding before her. In that moment, David felt invincible, a gladiator victorious in the arena. The laughter and murmurs of disdain around him amplified the dynamic shift in power. Lisa, the once enshrined queen of the community, was now isolated, her identity dimming under the weight of judgment. He stepped down from the stage, adrenaline coursing through his veins like a drug. As he walked away, he caught a glimpse of Jonathan choking on his own shame. It was a vision he wouldn't soon forget. David had done more than expose their betrayal. He had dismantled their lives in one fell swoop. As weeks passed, litigation began, but David anticipated every move. He accumulated testimonials from neighbors and friends about Lisa's character, all thrumming with a narrative that supported his claims. With each passing day, her facade crumbled. The mere mention of her name turned heads. Whispers followed her, and few dared extend kindness her way. During one court hearing, Jonathan tried to plead with David, a hushed tone declaring passion. "It wasn't supposed to be this way," he argued. Desperation etched across his features. "I thought she loved me." David, invigorated by the control he had amassed, leaned in with a sinister smile. "She only loved a stranger with an agenda. You've become nothing but a sad footnote in my story." The judgment fell in David's favor, finalizing the divorce and mandating payments that would cripple Lisa's finances. He watched meticulously as the judge signed the papers, feeling the vindication swell within him. It was more than winning. It was about reclaiming his life. As Lisa packed her belongings, the consciousness of her defeat thundered in her mind. No longer the clever, nurturing woman she once was, Lisa stood exposed before the world, a cautionary tale of greed. David stood in the doorway, arms crossed over his chest, expression cold as he welcomed her exit from their life. "Do you regret it?" he asked, his voice icy and unwavering, not an ounce of sympathy in his tone. Lisa looked broken, shaking her head as tears streamed down. "I didn't think it would come to this. And that's precisely why you're now a ghost in this town." He turned to walk away, a wave of relief washing over him. David had forged his identity anew, savoring the invigorating aftermath of the hard truths he had learned. No roses remained in this chapter, only the bitter remnants of a shattered dynasty intertwined with his relentless triumph. In the end, he reclaimed his narrative, a testament to resilience over betrayal. No mercy would shadow his path. The journey forward promised no easy road, but the lessons learned burgeoned in clarity. Trust is earned, not given. And some wounds, once healed, become part of the identity, guiding every step towards purpose. As the dust settled from the scandal, David found a strange sense of fulfillment in his newfound freedom. The bitter sting of betrayal transformed into a sharpened focus on rebuilding his life, yet shadows from the past still lurked around him. For every small victory he cherished, the sympathy he received from friends, the respect he gained in the eyes of the community, there was a moment that reminded him of the pain inflicted upon him by Lisa and Jonathan. While the legal battles began to materialize into financial gains, David felt a heavy weight still resting on his heart. He had dismantled their world, but what he really wanted was to reclaim his own, to rediscover happiness without the shadow of betrayal lingering near. One evening, after a particularly exhausting day at work, David plopped onto the sofa, his mind spinning with thoughts about his next steps, both professionally and personally. In his heart, he knew he had to let go of the anger that might still clutch at his insides like a vice. To heal fully, he needed to move beyond being just a survivor of their treachery and embrace a renewed identity. It was then he noticed Noah watching television, a flicker of innocence amid turmoil, and David's focus shifted. The warmth of his son's mere presence breathed life into dormant emotions. Protecting Noah was now paramount, and he understood he had to become the father his son needed. Taking a week off work, David devised a plan to reconnect with Noah and go on a series of adventures that would solidify their bond. He talked to Noah about their shared interests, mapping out days filled with hiking, fishing, and exploring historical sites in their area. It became a healing journey, weaving moments of laughter into their time together. Their days were exhilarating and refreshing, offering both father and son a reprieve from the hurt that had enveloped their world. As he reveled in father-son bonding, David learned to appreciate the beauty of simpler moments, like watching Noah's face light up at the side of a majestic sunset, or his infectious laughter on a fishing trip when they caught nothing but old boots. The world felt brighter, one where David could cast aside the burdens of betrayal, leaving space for joy. But alongside this, his mind lingered on the systems and people that foster betrayal, a financial industry intertwined with corruption and relationships marred by deceit. During those quiet evenings while Noah drifted to sleep, he drafted plans for a community initiative aimed at helping men navigate the emotional aftermath of divorce and infidelity. Empowering other little guys similarly wronged sparked hope and passion within him. Weeks morphed into months, and the initiative gained momentum, drawing attention from local media and community organizations. David stood proudly at its forefront, courage steeled by the understanding that he was not alone in suffering. There were countless others who sought solidarity, and through shared stories, healing began. But just as life seemed to settle into a rhythm, past remnants of pain reminded him of their bitter reality. The phone call came during a weekend barbecue with Noah. He was flipping burgers when a familiar number flashed across his screen. It was Lisa, an unexpected, unwelcome reminder of a life he strived to forget. "David, we need to talk," she said, her voice trembling. He was taken aback, feelings of anger rising once more at the sound of her voice, the reminders of betrayal coursing through his veins. "What do you want, Lisa?" he snapped. "Please, just give me a chance to explain," she pleaded, sounding vulnerable, uncharacteristic of the confident woman he once knew. "Things have changed." "What could possibly change in a mere few months?" David shot back, incredulous. With the soft crackle of the phone, he could hear her hesitation. "I'm struggling, David. I've lost everything, my friends, my dignity, Jonathan." The words hung in the air. "He left me." A smirk graced David's lips, an unexpected satisfaction that uncoiled the tension in his chest. "You think I care about your sob story?" he growled. "You made your choice. Now you reap what you've sown." "Can't we talk about the kids?" she finally said, softening her voice. "It's not fair to Noah." "Fair? That's rich coming from you," David replied scornfully, his resolve hardening further. "Noah is better off without your toxic influence. You made your choices. Now you live with them." As he hung up, emotions bubbled within him. Rage, triumph, sadness. Lisa's desperation stirred something within him that he wished to suppress. He'd fought hard to reclaim his life. Hearing her pain was unsettling and yet strangely affirmed that he had emerged. She was still trapped in a cycle of guilt and regret. Later that evening by the fireplace, David reflected on the implications of her call. Although a sense of empowerment swelled within him, he understood that her manipulations would never fully vanish from his life. Yet, he was determined not to let her affect his newfound peace. He worried how Noah would react to his mother's requests for forgiveness. He didn't want his son to pick up on the emotions that lingered, the ghosts of a past that should remain locked away. As the weeks wore on, they easily slipped into their routine. David poured his heart into the initiative, reaching out to other fathers, sharing his story, and creating workshops that facilitated healthy discussions about betrayal and emotional recovery. The feedback was profound. A community emerged. Then came the pivotal moment in his initiative, a planned event where local fathers shared their stories publicly. It fueled David's spirit, seeing men open up about heartbreak, their vulnerability, shedding layers of shame. The energy in the room was electric. This transformed into a platform of support, empowering men to reclaim their identities. As the event concluded, he realized this was no longer just a mission for his own healing, but a wave of momentum that could shift societal perceptions of betrayal. The emotions of a shared past blossomed into strength. David laughed with relief. Here was hope bred from broken promises. Yet the past never truly felt behind him. Late one night, as he was going through emails, he stumbled upon a notice regarding a court hearing about the final settlement for the divorce. The emotions flooded in, a stark reminder that he would forever be tied to the pain inflicted by his ex-wife, despite his triumphs. David grappled with the multifaceted weight of what had happened in his life. The scars would remain. He could not erase what had forged him. But what surprised him was the absence of burning rage. Instead, a quiet acceptance encased him. He would harness it to continue his efforts, and through his pain, others would find their way toward healing. The day of the hearing arrived, and David entered the courtroom with confidence. He had prepared his statements, aiming to draw strength from his newfound position of power, shielded by the armor he had constructed through resilience. The room was filled with small murmurs as he saw Lisa sitting at the plaintiff's table, a far cry from the confident woman he once knew. The embarrassment and regret etched on her face told the truth of her downfall. As the judge read through the settlement points, David's heart raced. "You fought hard for your fair share," the judge stated, glancing between them, "but emotional burdens take a toll on both parties. It is my judgment that the division of assets reflects not just financial aspects, but emotional impact." David felt a swell of pride in that moment, not just for himself, but for every father and husband who had struggled against betrayal and struggled to rediscover their strength. As the judge finalized the ruling, David realized this victory was no longer solely about punishing Lisa or Jonathan. It was about reclaiming his narrative. After closing statements, David walked out, refreshed, the energy inside him resonating with purpose. He wouldn't allow their betrayal to define him. Instead, he would rise as an emblem of resilience, bringing others along on this journey toward redemption. Life had wound down a long, arduous path into something bright and beautiful, daring him to look forward without fear. Noah was waiting at home, oblivious to the complexities of adult relationships. The simple happiness in his son's eyes was enough to fuel David's heart with hope. The next chapter awaited him, crafted over time, pieced together with honesty and fortitude, leaving the denizens of betrayal behind. It was time to embrace the journey ahead, fueled by love and trust. And for David, the remnants of heartbreak only served to strengthen his resolve, ensuring that betrayal would never again dictate the terms of his life. As time rolled on, David continued to build the community initiative he had started, focusing not only on healing from betrayal, but also on forging stronger bonds among fathers and their children. The workshops filled quickly, the energy in the room palpable with camaraderie and understanding. Each session became an outlet where men could openly share their stories, create friendships, and cultivate a deeper sense of purpose. David found himself more fulfilled than he'd ever been. Coaching others through their struggles reinvigorated his spirit. One evening, as he wrapped up a session, a father named Mark approached him, the weight of despair clouding his features. "Thank you for what you're doing," Mark said sincerely. "I didn't think I could come back from my divorce, but all this makes me feel like I'm not alone anymore." David nodded, feeling the fire of connection within him burn brighter. "You're never alone, Mark. It may seem like the end, but it's really just a transformation. Our stories can guide us to become better versions of ourselves." Empowerment resonated among the attendees, and as they gathered, it swelled into an atmosphere thick with resilience. Yet beyond the workshop walls, the lingering echoes of deceit from David's past still occasionally crept into his mind. The memories of Lisa and Jonathan echoed in the chambers of his thoughts like an unwelcome refrain. One day, while he was cleaning out old files, he stumbled upon photographs of happier times with Lisa, family vacations, birthday celebrations, milestones that now felt like a previous lifetime. David exhaled slowly, frustration rising as he tossed the pictures into the recycling bin. "Let it go," he chanted softly, almost as if reminding himself. It was vital to distance himself from those ghosts, to create new memories with Noah, ones untarnished by the circumstances of his past. One day, out of the blue, a message from Lisa popped up on his phone. "David, I'd like to meet. Can we talk?" It caught him off guard. She had respected his space for the past months, but the idea of re-engaging with her stirred apprehension. What more could she possibly want? After giving it some thought, curiosity tempered his anger. Perhaps closure would help him fully sever ties and cast away the remnants of pain. Meeting at a local cafe, David arrived early, trying to quell the mix of apprehension and curiosity swelling within him. He spotted her as soon as he walked in, looking weary and pale, a reflection of her tumultuous descent. "Thank you for coming," Lisa said softly, her voice tinged with anxiety. "I know I don't deserve your time, but I wanted to share something important." He nodded, inviting her to continue. "Just say what you need to say." "I've been reflecting a lot," she began, her hands trembling slightly. "I've hit rock bottom. Losing everything made me realize how wrong I was. I'm not here to ask for forgiveness, but I want you to know that I'm sorry. I failed as a wife and a friend." Her admission, though unpolished, felt honest. David's defenses momentarily softened, but he was reminded of the hurt she had caused. "You made your choices, Lisa." He studied her face, searching for sincerity. "But apologizing doesn't erase what happened." "It won't, I know." "I don't expect that," she replied, her voice catching. "But I'm trying to rebuild my life. The affair and everything afterward, it took losing you to realize how wrong I was. I've been struggling alone, and it's been horrible." "No one deserves to suffer," David said cautiously, still navigating the tumult of emotions. "But what you did shattered our world. You need to understand the weight of that." "I do," she said earnestly, tears welling in her eyes. "I lost Jonathan too. He left me when he realized the consequences of our actions. There's no easy way to put this, but I wanted you to know part of me recognizes I was selfish, and I want to work toward being a better person, maybe even for Noah." At the mention of their son, David felt a pulse of protectiveness rise within him. "Noah is my priority, Lisa. He deserves a mother who actively chooses love and honesty. If you want to rebuild trust with him, you'll have to prove yourself. Show him you're serious about change." "I'm committed to doing that," she asserted firmly. "I know it'll take time, but I'm prepared for the work. I miss him. I miss both of you." David searched her face for signs of authenticity. Was this merely a plea for sympathy or a genuine effort at redemption? "Words are easy, Lisa. Actions speak louder. If you want to influence Noah's life positively, you need a solid plan and you must stick to it." As their conversation continued, he shared how he had been developing community programs, emphasizing the importance of their son's well-being. Lisa listened, nodding appreciatively. "Your work is impressive, David," she exclaimed. "You're turning pain into something beautiful." "It's not just for me," David replied. "It's a way to guide others away from the abyss I fell into." The weight of the conversation began to lift, but uncertainty lingered. Their meeting concluded with a tentative understanding. He sensed the growth in her, yet David remained guarded. Trust had been shattered. Rebuilding was a long, tedious process. He now understood their relationship would require boundaries and continuous evaluation. In the following weeks, Lisa reached out frequently, making an effort to connect with Noah. Each interaction was graced with awkwardness, the remnants of past pain coloring their exchange. But David recognized the small steps of progress. As Lisa gradually earned Noah's affection back, David had to reconcile his feelings toward her. Yet, just as hope began seeping through the cracks, another reminder materialized. Jonathan resurfaced, a shadow once more darkening their doorstep. David found himself in a fierce internal battle between pushing back against another wave of confrontation or looking to broaden his understanding. When David received a call from him, he paused before answering. "David," Jonathan said, an edge of static laced their dialogue. "I know I should have never reached out, but I'm facing some issues that I could really use your help with." His pulse quickened with fury. Help? After what you did? You think you deserve support? David was furious and incredulous, ready to slam the phone down. Just hear me out. I know what I did was terrible, but I've faced consequences myself. I've lost everything and I just need someone to listen. We can't go back, but maybe I can find a way to make amends. I don't want to hear it. You destroyed my family, David snapped, disbelief rising. You made your choices and now you're reaping what you sowed. I know this sounds crazy, Jonathan continued, but I'm trying to change. I don't expect forgiveness, but I want to take responsibility. Can we at least meet? David took a moment, weighing his options. Was there any value in engaging further? Ultimately, he realized dialogue could provide insights into Jonathan's perspective, maybe revealing motivations that could help him understand the broader implications of betrayal. After agonizing internal debate, he reluctantly agreed. Fine. We'll meet, but understand. This is strictly business. I'll give you a chance to speak your truth, but don't expect anything more. Jonathan agreed, and they set a date to meet at a nearby cafe. As the day approached, David prepared himself emotionally, strengthening his resolve. Facing Jonathan again, David was reminded of the tangled web they had woven, a design threaded with pain and consequences. The day arrived, heavy with anticipation. When they met, Jonathan's gaunt frame reflected the toll of distress. He appeared raw, slightly humbled, and strangely distant. Something in David shifted as he prepared to engage in uncomfortable territory. Thank you for meeting, David, Jonathan began, visibly anxious. I really appreciate the opportunity. What do you want? David replied, crossing his arms defensively. I'm losing everything. My job, my reputation. Everything I thought I built came crashing down, Jonathan admitted, almost pleading. I realize now that I sacrificed my integrity for a fleeting moment of pleasure. It was stupid, and I'd give anything to undo it. David gripped the edge of his chair. Jonathan's words ignited a long-buried fuse of anger and resentment. And how does that affect me now? David inquired pointedly, gazing into Jonathan's eyes with intensity. I'm not asking for sympathy, Jonathan responded earnestly. But to be honest, I'm afraid. It's hell to realize I lost everything, and I don't think I can face it alone. I'm hoping you can give a piece of genuine feedback. I'm trying to change, but I don't know where to start. David considered the enormity of those words. It was difficult to stay angry when faced with someone who bore the fallout of their choices. You want to change? Well, you need to first accept what you've done and then step forward on a path that defines your future, David offered, leaning back thoughtfully. Their conversation continued, an unexpected exchange of viewpoints surrounding guilt, shame, and the nature of redemption. In some twisted way, David felt a flickering connection with Jonathan. Like him, he had clawed through the wreckage of choices made and faced the consequences. When they parted, David surprised himself with a sliver of empathy for Jonathan, a reminder that everyone bears scars from their choices, even those who perpetrated betrayal. Back at home, David reflected on his journey and how far he had come. The tumultuous past remained a core component of his identity, shaping the father and leader he was becoming. The nurturing bond he created with Noah emerged from the ashes of adversity. His resolve to protect his son from the darkness of betrayal remained unwavering, and as Lisa continued to make strides in rebuilding her connection with Noah, David's sense of healing fortified. Together, they were rebuilding the remnants of their broken family, an imperfect tapestry woven with threads of resilience. Through every interaction with Lisa and Jonathan, David found breathing space. He was creating new moments, while holding on to the invaluable lessons they imparted along the way. A stronger man emerged, fortified by the heartache, armed with love and purpose, unafraid to navigate the complexities of life, living as a triumphed testament to resilience. And as he tucked Noah into bed each night, David couldn't help but realize that despite the scars of betrayal, the love surrounding them brought the warmth of hope, illuminating the path toward brighter tomorrows. Ultimately, It was a journey spent embodying the strength to rise above, ensuring that darkness would never overshadow the love destined to shine through. As spring blossomed into full swing, David's community initiative flourished, expanding beyond what he had ever envisioned. The workshops became a local staple, a beacon for fathers seeking support and healing in their turbulent journeys. Each session infused David with purpose, fueling his commitment to transform the pain of betrayal into a force for good. With Noah by his side, he attended weekly gatherings where fathers bonded over shared experiences. The laughter shared between them echoed in the room, mingled with the sounds of renewed hope and connection. Each story told was a testament to resilience, and David felt a surge of pride watching fathers rebuild bonds with their children that would have otherwise been lost to heartache. Yet amid this momentum, David was acutely aware of the lingering aftermath of his divorcing from Lisa. As he navigated the terrain of co-parenting, their interactions felt like a delicate dance, pulled between the need for civility and the weight of history pressing down on them. Lisa was slowly still integrating into Noah's life, attending soccer games and school events, attempting to forge a rapport as a mother. David often watched her from a distance, assessing how the community perceived her resurgence. When Lisa showed up at one of their workshops to observe, David's heart raced. The tension in his chest tightened as he saw her mingling with the other fathers. Gripped by uncertainty, he wondered how she would fit into the very community he had built from the remnants of their past. "Lisa," he said, surprised to see her among the attendees afterward, a faint smile lingering on her lips. "What brings you here?" "I wanted to understand what you're creating," Lisa replied earnestly. "I want to see how I can be a part of Noah's life again. And this seems like a good way for me to learn." The sincerity in her voice intrigued him, yet he remained cautious. It's a space for healing. "If you're here for the right reasons, it could be beneficial," he said, guarded but willing to leave room for hope. As they exchanged pleasantries, he noticed a distinct change in her demeanor. Softer, more open, less defensive than the woman he had once known. David breathed in deeply, recognizing the subtle evolution within her, yet mindful of the time still required to heal the scars they both bore. Gradually, Lisa integrated into the community gatherings, a new participant alongside fathers, reclaiming their lives. Conversations between them evolved, shifting from strained interactions into dialogues filled with tentativeness and, on occasion, shared laughter. David started offering her glimpses into their workshops, allowing her to contribute her insights as someone who had also faced the impact of marital strife. Unexpectedly, Lisa began connecting with the other fathers, sharing her own insights regarding navigating their shared experiences of betrayal. She offered perspectives that resonated, often highlighting the importance of vulnerability and communication, elements that had once eluded their marriage. The other fathers respected her willingness to engage, and it was a sight that both fascinated and unnerved David. With each shared session, he could feel the stirrings of communal support extend towards Lisa, a recognition that perhaps she, too, was on a path of transformation. As spring turned to early summer, the program culminated in a larger event. Baptized the Fatherhood Festival, it attracted community members looking to support the cause. Excitement buzzed in the air as fathers and children created bonds through activities and games. Everyone laughed, and the energy flowed seamlessly, a warm embrace wrapping around all present. David poured his heart into organizing this festival, and he couldn't help but feel pride as he watched fathers engage with their children. He even led a session on navigating broken families, a topic that stirred immense emotion in many attendees. Encouraging others to openly discuss pain while recognizing the path to healing felt like reclaiming authority over what had once broken him. With the festivities in full swing, Noah approached David, pointing excitedly toward an arts and crafts station. "Dad, can we go? I want to make something for you," he exclaimed, his face a canvas of joy. "Of course, buddy," David smiled, ruffling Noah's hair as they walked over. As they engaged in creating a makeshift father-son portrait, David looked up to find Lisa standing nearby, a reflective expression on her face. An emotion washed over him, an uncomfortable blend of nostalgia and acceptance. This was the woman he once adored, reconciling into a position alongside him, supporting their son. Once they wrapped up their craft, Noah beamed proudly, holding the colorful paper creation. "Look! It's us!" He held it up, eyes glimmering with excitement. Lisa approached slowly, kneeling beside Noah. "That's amazing! You've got quite the talent, Noah," she encouraged, her words laden with warmth. David observed the exchange, feeling a pang of something new emerge within him. Hope. It dawned on him that perhaps Lisa genuinely wanted to shift their dynamic, to honor the boy they both loved. The festival surged to a joyous conclusion, embodying resilience and honor in the face of adversity. It illustrated that even amidst brokenness, new connections could form, rising from the ashes like a phoenix soaring into the sky. As the sun set, illuminating the park in golden hues, David found himself standing beside Lisa, watching Noah play with other children. An unspoken understanding settled between them. Perhaps this was a new chapter. The past may have shaped their lives, but it no longer dictated their future. "Thank you for being here today," she said softly, her voice barely above a whisper, yet the emotion held weight. "It means a lot to me." David nodded, gauging the sincerity in her eyes. "I want you to be a part of Noah's life. Just remember, trust takes time." "I understand," she replied, taking a breath as if steeling her courage, "and I'm ready to put in that work." When the festival concluded, David felt an unexpected sense of closure. This transition marked a definitive shift, a blend of what was with what could be. He understood that they wouldn't fix everything overnight, but they were both working toward a healthier relationship, especially for Noah's sake. As the weeks turned into months, the festival experience lingered, sowing seeds of emotional growth for David, Noah, and even Lisa. Through co-parenting, there was laughter, occasional hiccups, and a developing respect that allowed them to rebuild a foundation forged on mutual understanding. David often caught himself marveling at how their connection evolved. One day, while sorting through old family albums, he stumbled upon an image of Lisa and him, blissfully happy against the backdrop of a family vacation. He chuckled softly, realizing the journey they had traversed and the complexity of emotions tied to that chapter. While the past had its grip, what mattered was steering forward, embracing the beauty found in their imperfections. Lisa had found her place again, and David had embraced the idea of shared parenting as partners committed to their son's well-being. Years of isolation transformed into the beginnings of collaboration, evidence that it was still possible to carve out joy amid the wreckage of betrayal. Reflections stirred within David as he gazed at the progress made. Perhaps the reality of their tumultuous past did not have to mar the new intersections of their lives. With each sunrise, David remained resolved to foster an environment full of understanding, laughter, and love. They might forever carry the shadows of their former selves, but together they could navigate toward the light, ensuring Noah thrived amidst their reconciliation. As seasons turned, he knew they had not only survived, they had undeniably emerged changed from one another's lives, tempered by adversity and molded toward greater resilience, truly embodying the notion of discovering hope amidst chaos. The summer breeze drifted through the open windows of David's home, carrying the vibrant sounds of children playing outside. Life had settled into a rhythm that felt almost normal. Noah was flourishing, showing increased enthusiasm in both school and his extracurricular activities, sailing through the ups and downs with an infectious smile that warmed David's heart. David often found himself brimming with pride as he watched his son navigate friendships and take part in sports, the boy embodying resilience at every turn. The co-parenting arrangement with Lisa flowed smoother than he could have imagined. Their interactions had evolved from guarded exchanges into meaningful discussions about Noah's upbringing and well-being. Together, they embraced elements of parenting that encouraged their son to thrive. They developed a monthly calendar that scheduled family outings, a mix of one-on-one time with each parent and shared adventures, allowing Noah to experience both parents equally. During one weekend, they organized a day at the local aquarium, a place filled with colorful marine life and educational opportunities. The anticipation buzzed in the air as they approached the entrance, greeted by the joyous laughter of children echoing around them. Look at the penguins, Noah exclaimed, eyes wide with excitement as he dashed ahead, dragging David along with him. That's right. Keep up, Dad, he teased, laughter bubbling as he turned to find Lisa not far behind, who wore a smile that seemed alien, yet refreshing. It signaled the work they had both put in to navigate their complexities. Inside, they marveled at the vibrant corals and fascinating sea creatures, with Noah's voice carrying animated questions. David couldn't help but steal glances at Lisa, observing her delight during moments shared with their son. This was an unfamiliar landscape, splitting time as teammates rather than foes. Every step felt lighter than the last, a testament to the healing they had collectively embraced. As they moved between exhibits, their conversations oscillated between humor and nostalgia. Remember when you thought dolphins could actually talk? Lisa teased, recalling a previous family trip where Noah had earnestly asked about dolphin dialogue. Hey, I was just trying to understand animal communication, Noah protested, grinning, his youthful spirit shining through. They rounded a corner to the mesmerizing jellyfish display, and Noah's awe captivated them both. Glowing sea creatures pulsated against a dark backdrop, creating a dreamlike ambiance. David captured the moment with his phone, glancing over at Lisa, whose eyes sparkled with wonder. Later, as they enjoyed lunch on a shaded terrace, David felt a warmth extend beyond mere companionship, touching the heart of what it meant to emerge from chaos. I didn't expect today to go this smoothly, he admitted, peering across at Lisa's thoughtful expression. Me neither, she replied, a light laugh escaping her lips. But seeing Noah so happy makes it all worth it. I appreciate this, David. Thanks for being here, he responded, genuinely reflecting on how far they had come. While their past hung as a specter, it no longer defined their relationship. It was becoming a backdrop to the new tapestry they were weaving together. With the day drawing to a close, they found themselves exploring the touch pool exhibit. Their fingers brushed against starfish and hermit crabs, sharing laughter amid splashes of water, a fleeting reminder of what family could look like. As they prepared to leave, Noah suddenly turned serious. Can we do this more often? He asked, gazing back and forth between them. The innocence in his voice tugged at David's heartstrings. Of course, David said instantly, his heart swelling. He glanced at Lisa, who echoed the sentiment with a nod. After the aquarium, their co-parenting arrangement continued to flourish. Every opportunity was another chance to build trust and solidify their commitment to Noah. However, David was acutely aware of how fragile this newfound dynamic remained. He tread carefully, conscious of the effort it took to nurture this evolving partnership. Entering into deeper waters of collaboration entailed vigilance and an understanding that healing would always take time. Later, as they articulated plans for Noah's upcoming birthday party, tension sparked when differences emerged regarding guest lists and themes. Lisa preferred a larger gathering with all their family and friends, while David envisioned a more intimate celebration, a cozy get-together with just their closest friends. I think we should focus on what Noah really wants, David reasoned, his tone firm yet diplomatic. A smaller party would give him a chance to truly connect with his friends without feeling overwhelmed. I understand, but we should also include family. It's important for him, Lisa countered, eyebrows furrowing with skepticism. Don't you think he would enjoy being surrounded by everyone who loves him? Absolutely, David said gently. But we need to find the balance. I just want him to have fun without feeling pressured. Their conversation began to spiral into an uncomfortable debate, the ghost of old arguments rearing its head. David felt the residual anxiety coil in his chest, a familiar sense of frustration at the unresolved issues that lingered beneath the surface. Can we take a step back? David suggested, trying to recalibrate the conversation. Let's focus on making his day special, together. Lisa nodded, sensing the shift. Right. Sorry, I didn't mean to push things too far. They agreed to compile a list of essentials and hobbies Noah enjoyed, merging their thoughts into a cohesive vision. Slowly, they learned to communicate more effectively, navigating their differences without letting history muddy the waters. On the day of Noah's party, they worked together seamlessly, holding the realm of joy in their shared focus and energy. When the guests started arriving, laughter erupted, and the house filled with the joyful sounds of children running wild, accompanied by the fragrant aroma of cake and decorations that blossomed around them. David smiled as he watched Noah engaged in games with his friends. His spirit shone brightly. As laughter echoed in the air, David and Lisa began to mingle with the parents, creating a vibrant atmosphere imbued with positivity. During a rare moment of calm, David stepped outside to enjoy some fresh air, leaning against the doorframe to catch his breath. Lisa joined him, a relieved smile on her face. "Do you think Noah is enjoying himself?" she asked, glancing back toward the living room full of smiling children. "Definitely," David responded, warmth enveloping his heart at the sight of their son. "You did a great job with the decorations. Everything looks fantastic." "Thanks. I couldn't have done it without your help." Lisa smiled softly, and in that moment, David felt the remnants of resentment subside, replaced with a sense of gratitude for their evolving partnership. Just as they exchanged a moment of understanding, a sudden call from Noah startled them. "Dad! Mom! Come quick!" They rushed inside to find Noah standing in the middle of a foster puppy party, a surprise organized by extended family members, complete with balloons and a small drive hosted among fellow attendees. "No way!" Noah squealed in disbelief, as furry puppies bound around the room, their tiny legs bouncing with excitement. "This is amazing!" Lisa exclaimed, kneeling beside Noah as the pups licked at his hands. David watched in awe at what the party had unexpectedly transformed into, a mixture of joy and comedy, where laughter and chaos intermixed seamlessly. As the hours rolled by, David, Lisa, and Noah soaked in the love shared throughout the house. Friendships were revitalized, connections renewed, and laughter reverberated like a gentle melody. The day unfolded beautifully, encapsulating the spirit of family forged from hard-earned forgiveness and fresh starts. When nightfall settled, the event transformed into a magical evening, punctuated by joyful conversations and a lights display illuminating the landscape. As Noah tumbled into bed, exhausted yet elated, David felt a profound gratitude wash over him. Each moment held significance. They were redefining what their family could look like. Later, as he and Lisa sat on the porch, relishing leftovers and stargazing, David felt a delicate solace envelop them. "You know, today really was special," he said, glancing at her. "I agree," Lisa replied. "I'm glad we made it work. Maybe this is what we needed, a fresh start." David nodded, the complexity of their journey dawning on him in new ways. "One step at a time, right?" "Absolutely." In that embrace of hope, David found himself letting old resentments slip away. There were still scars to heal and obstacles ahead, but the foundation was solidifying. Each day was proof they could rise above their past and form something new together, grounded in love and commitment. The moments that had once seemed filled with resentment faded, making way for a deeper understanding that family could adapt and evolve, despite their tumultuous history. Redemption wasn't merely about erasing the past. It thrived in the balance they were beginning to create. As the stars twinkled above like shimmering confessions of hope, David realized that the journey was far from over, but together, they had the tools to navigate futures filled with promise. And love persisted in unexpected forms, ready to illuminate the path ahead. As autumn painted the leaves in shades of amber and crimson, David felt a renewed sense of purpose. It had been months since the birthday party, yet the experience marked a turning point in his relationship with Lisa and their co-parenting journey. With each passing day, they were redefining what family could mean, building trust and forging deeper connections amidst the remnants of their past. Life settled into a comforting routine that combined the joys of parenthood with the challenges of navigating a shared history. They found natural rhythms in their interactions, often discussing Noah's activities, school events, and hobbies as they worked in tandem. Instead of avoiding each other, they leaned into the connection, often joking about their shared experiences and parenting challenges. One crisp Saturday morning, Noah bounded into their living room with an abundance of energy. "Dad, can we go to the pumpkin patch today? I want to pick the biggest pumpkin ever." His enthusiasm was palpable, lighting up the room like sunshine breaking through clouds. David couldn't resist the infectious joy. "Of course, but only if you promise to help me carve it later," he replied, smiling wide. "Deal," Noah cheered, already racing to grab his jacket. As they prepared for their adventure, David exchanged understanding glances with Lisa. Since their new arrangement began, the three of them had settled into a healthy rhythm. This outing would be their first official family event since the birthday party, and he felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness at this next step in their evolving dynamic. The pumpkin patch bustled with families and laughter, a vibrant scene filled with hay bales, colorful decorations, and the earthy scent of autumn. David watched as Noah took charge, his excitement bubbling over as he dashed toward the rows of pumpkins. "I bet I can find the biggest one," Noah challenged, racing off into the patch with determination. "Good luck," Lisa called after him, her voice mingling with the joyous shouts of other children. As David wandered through the patch, he decided to seize the opportunity for a deeper connection with Lisa, while Noah searched for the perfect pumpkin. They strolled together, reminiscing about past autumns, the traditions they had loved, before all had unraveled. "Do you remember the time we carved pumpkins and turned the seeds into a snack?" Lisa laughed. "You thought adding cinnamon to them was genius. We ended up ruining a whole batch." David chuckled at the memory. "Yeah, that was quite the abomination. I was so determined to be innovative." As laughter echoed between them, they moved through the lush rows of pumpkins, feeling lighter with each exchange. They managed to put aside the ghosts of their past, discovering a newfound connection rooted in their shared commitment to Noah. David caught a glimpse of Noah in the distance, proudly trying to lift a giant pumpkin, its size clearly too hefty for him. "I think he's going to need some help," he said, motioning for them to join. "Let's see if he can manage." Lisa grinned, and together they ambled toward their son. "Do you need our superhero help?" David asked playfully as they approached him. "No way, I can do it," Noah insisted, panting with effort. "All right then, I believe in you," Lisa cheered, deliberately refraining from stepping in too soon, nurturing independence while still offering encouragement. Moments later, giggles erupted as Noah finally toppled backward, unable to hold the massive pumpkin any longer. Okay, I need help," he gasped, laughter bubbling over as he sat in the dirt, covered with pumpkin seeds. David and Lisa rushed forward, both kneeling beside him. "How about we work together?" David suggested, lifting the enormous pumpkin effortlessly as Lisa helped Noah up. Together, they carried the prize back to the car, laughter and memories spilling forth as they joked about the perfect carving techniques for Halloween. For the first time in a long while, he felt a sense of genuine joy in their joint endeavor, a synergy that hinted at the endless possibilities for the new family they were shaping. That evening, they gathered around their dining room table for carving festivities. Noah's eyes sparkled as they unloaded the pumpkin, prominent on the table. David took charge of the knife, carefully guiding Noah on how to create a masterful design, a creative endeavor that became an art form. "Let's make it the scariest pumpkin on the block," Noah declared, grabbing a set of vibrant markers. As they painted on faces and carved out shapes, Lisa stepped back, watching her boys work side by side. The sight of David patiently explaining each step to Noah sparked a sense of warmth within her. She had begun to see David in a new light, a devoted father willing to create positive experiences no matter the past. Their spirits soared and laughter filled the kitchen, transforming the mundane into the extraordinary as they let their creativity run wild. When the final pumpkin sat illuminated on the porch, glowing alongside the twinkling lights, it was a symbol of how far they had come. "Look at our masterpiece," David exclaimed, wiping sweat from his forehead. "I think the neighbors will want to come take photos with it." "Totally! It's the best pumpkin ever," Noah replied, his joy infectious. As they gathered together to admire their handiwork, David felt a wave of gratitude wash over him. The weight of resentment he once felt toward Lisa was beginning to dissipate, replaced by a shared understanding of loyalty to their son. Later that week, during a routine pickup for a family dinner, Noah dashed out the door, excitement radiating from his face. "Dad, Mom, guess what? I asked my teacher if we can have a pumpkin-themed school presentation." "That's fantastic," Lisa replied, excitement bubbling over. "Can you both help me with it?" Noah asked, eyes widening. "Of course," David responded, glancing at Lisa, his heart swelling. "We'd love to. Let's brainstorm ideas when we get home." As they drove to dinner, the atmosphere buzzed with enthusiasm. Noah animatedly shared ideas about his class project, an exploration of autumn traditions, incorporating cultural recipes and stories about pumpkins. It felt exhilarating for all three of them to embrace these moments together, shaping not only Noah's experience, but reshaping their connection as a family unit. Dinner was filled with laughter as they exchanged stories and chattered about school projects. David reflected on how easily they navigated the evening. It was a stark contrast to the tension-filled encounters they had faced months prior. Their journey toward healing felt ongoing but unified in love for their son, and it colored the spaces in between. After dinner, while Noah washed up, David and Lisa stepped outside to enjoy the cool evening breeze. "It's amazing how far we've come," David remarked, taking in the tranquility of the neighborhood. "I never thought we could end up here, working together, finding our way." Lisa nodded, her expression contemplative. "It's been a journey, but seeing Noah happy is worth every effort we've made. I appreciate you being open to working with me, especially when it's not always easy." David met her gaze, recognizing the depth of their evolving connection. "We're doing this for him, but I think we're becoming better people too," he said, hoping that their actions could lead to a more harmonious future. As autumn continued its descent into winter, the family dynamic continued to grow and change. Every pumpkin carving session, family outing, or school project deepened their relationships, forging a pathway toward understanding, compassion, and teamwork. One afternoon, while preparing for Thanksgiving, they decided to host a family gathering at David's house, marking another milestone in their co-parenting journey, a chance for both families to come together to celebrate gratitude. The notion felt heavy with significance and potential, but portrayed their willingness to embrace challenges head-on. As they decorated the dining room with autumn colors and twinkling fairy lights, Noah became an exuberant kitchen helper, nibbling on ingredients and eagerly assisting them with food preparations. Laughter erupted as flour dust settled on David's nose, reminiscent of times where joy splashed through, creating shared memories. When the big day arrived, David stood proudly at the head of the table, surrounded by friends and family. They gathered in an atmosphere buoyed by connection, love, and laughter, each moment a testament to the past they had traversed. After the family shared their thanks, Noah stood up, his cheeks flushed with excitement. "I want to say thank you for being the best mom and dad ever," he exclaimed. "Today is my favorite holiday because everyone's together. This is what family feels like." The room erupted in applause and laughter. An overwhelming wave of emotion surged through David, paralleled by Lisa's shining eyes. The open acknowledgement from Noah encapsulated their journey, a bond that emerged stronger from adversity. As the festivities continued and family memories were created anew, David felt something transformative occur within him. Beneath the layers of past hurt, seeds of healing had taken root, nurturing him into a better version of himself, grounded by love and connection. Now, entering winter together, David embraced the possibility of crafting a thriving family narrative moving forward. While shadows of the past remained, he was dedicated to building a future where love and trust would dominate all, helping them redefine family amid evolved ties. The journey was still unfolding, but with each new day, David knew they were all learning valuable lessons about forgiveness, resilience, and the power of shared compassion. Together, they faced uncertainties, armed with understanding. No longer just a created family, but one founded on love, trust, and an unwavering commitment to one another. As winter enveloped Maplewood in a frosty embrace, the air crackled with anticipation of the holidays. David found himself eagerly preparing for Christmas, ready to foster new traditions with Noah and Lisa. The previous months of shared dinners and collaborative activities had laid a solid foundation for the upcoming festivities. With the season's spirit infusing their lives, David decided to bring everyone together for a holiday event to create memories that Noah could cherish. He envisioned a cozy gathering at his home where they could celebrate together amidst the warmth of friendship and love. During one of their planning sessions, David broached the topic. How do you feel about hosting Christmas together? We could do something fun for Noah and invite some family and friends. Lisa's face brightened, and the glimmer of excitement sparkled in her eyes. That sounds wonderful. We can decorate the house together, bake cookies, and make hot cocoa. What do you think, Noah? Noah's enthusiastic response filled the room with warmth. Yes, I want to make a super huge gingerbread house. David couldn't help but smile at the enthusiasm swirling around him. It felt extraordinary to embrace this family journey. All right then. Let's make it the best Christmas ever. With plans set in motion, their days were filled with merriment. They strung lights, hung ornaments, and created a tapestry of laughter and love that enveloped the house. David cherished the growing bond between them, a sense of hope blossoming beneath the surface of reconciliation. One evening, while decorating the tree adorned with glimmering lights, Noah darted around with a fresh ornament in hand, the one he'd selected at the store. Look, Dad, I found a starfish ornament. It's our pet fish's favorite. That's perfect. You can hang it right here. David complimented as he pointed to a fitting branch. Lisa watched as Noah climbed up on a stool, carefully placing the ornament. You're doing such an amazing job, Noah, she cheered, a genuine exclamation of pride in her voice. After a few hours of decorating, laughter filled the air as the tree began to take shape, an unassuming caricature of their lives together. The humor and joy intermingled, and David couldn't shake the sense of warmth radiating through the house. A few days later, with Christmas only around the corner, they embarked on their holiday baking marathon. Noah donned a flour-dusted apron, ready to help his parents create an array of decadent cookies shaped like Christmas trees, snowmen, and gingerbread men, all while their favorite festive songs played in the background. Don't eat that dough before we finish, Noah, David teased, laughing at Noah's guilty expression as he sneakily licked his fingers. Just a tiny taste, Noah defended with a cheeky grin. Lisa joined in with laughter, her glowing enjoyment evident. I think the dough counts as an ingredient needed for quality control, she quipped, stirring a mixing bowl. They moved seamlessly from rolling dough to cutting out shapes and decorating cookies with bright glazes. Flour danced in the air amid chuckles, signifying the joy that enveloped their activities. As they baked, David caught glimpses of the woman Lisa had transformed into, one filled with kindness and dedication to family. He admired how she carried herself, free of past burdens as they worked together, their synergy radiating warmth throughout the kitchen. The day before Christmas, they prepped for their big community volunteer event, a tradition that David wanted to introduce to Noah and Lisa. Together, they organized a charity drive to create care packages for families in need. It embodied the spirit of giving that transcended the holiday season, uniting them in purpose. At the local community center, they set up tables filled with donated items, ready to assemble care packages. The sight of smiling families and joyful children lifted their spirits as they connected with others in meaningful ways. Can we help with the packages? Noah asked, excitement brimming in his voice as he observed adults filling boxes efficiently. Absolutely. Let's dive in, David responded, eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. As they worked together alongside neighbors and new friends, a collective atmosphere of compassion enveloped them. Conversations flowed effortlessly, sharing laughs, stories, and experiences that reaffirmed the beauty of community. In the midst of all this, everything began to feel interconnected. Each act of kindness reminded David of their journey, one that had transformed sorrow into purpose. As he observed Lisa engaging with other volunteers, and Noah smiling from ear to ear, he recognized their growth. After a long day, they returned home exhausted but fulfilled. As they crawled into bed that night, the energy of joy surrounded them. David found himself smiling at the incredible journey they had crafted together. Christmas morning dawned clear and bright, and excitement buzzed in the air as Noah awoke early, barely able to contain his glee. "Dad! Mom! It's Christmas!" he shouted, racing down the hallway to gather them. They rushed downstairs together, greeted by the sight of the decorated tree, glowing with soft lights amidst a sea of colorful wrapped gifts. "Look," Noah beamed, his joy radiating like the sun. "Let's open presents," Lisa clapped, joining in Noah's excitement. As the morning unfolded, they exchanged gifts filled with heartfelt memories. Noah presented them with hand-painted ornaments he had crafted in art class, while David and Lisa gifted him a new bike and a book collection about fantastical adventures. With each unwrapped treasure, laughter ignited the room, creating sparks of connection between them that felt brighter than ever. Later, they settled down for a traditional holiday feast, and at the table, David watched Noah giggle and engage, the purest joy emanating from him. While they raised glasses to toast to love and family, David couldn't help but feel overwhelming gratitude. "To new beginnings, shared memories, and the bonds we continue to build," David proposed, looking at Lisa and Noah with affection. "To family," they echoed together, toasting glasses filled with sparkling cider. Amidst that moment of shared celebration, as he captured a glance at each of their smiling faces, David realized they had cultivated something profound, a loving ensemble bound not by past scars, but by mutual growth and understanding. As the festivities rolled on, David promised himself that their journey was just beginning. The warmth of the holiday season enveloped them, reaffirming the commitment to nurture this new chapter, a promise to uplift and support one another wholeheartedly. Through the laughter and love that surrounded them, he understood that healing could transform paths, lead individuals to forge connections through adversity, and create systems of trust amid uncertainty. While the past would always remain a part of their narrative, it no longer dictated their present. Instead, they were carving a future bathed in resilience, wonder, and most importantly, love. And as they stepped into the new year, David embraced the belief that together they would navigate whatever challenges may come their way, fortified by the bonds they had forged, ready to embrace all that lay ahead. As the new year approached, the atmosphere in Maplewood was alive with celebration. David reveled in the changes that had unfolded over the past year. It felt like a renaissance, a complete transformation that melded together family dynamics and personal growth. Noah stood as the embodiment of that joy, shining brightly, a child blossoming amidst love and resilience. The New Year's Eve party, hosted by friends, brought an exciting anticipation to David's household. He sat with Noah at the kitchen table, reviewing the countdown to midnight. "Can you believe we're welcoming another year, buddy?" David asked, watching Noah's eyes widen in excitement. "No way! I can't wait to celebrate and eat all the snacks," Noah responded, enthusiasm bubbling over. "Snacks and fireworks," David added, smiling. "What do you wish for this year?" Noah thought for a moment, his youthful brow furrowed in deep concentration. "I wish for a big adventure, like the ones in my books." David chuckled, appreciating the pure-hearted innocence. "Then let's make it an adventure year," he declared, enthusiasm piercing through the air. "Whether it's hiking, camping, or exploring new places, we can create amazing memories together." As the evening approached, Lisa arrived with her own contributions to the party, a medley of snacks, festive decorations, and, importantly, a cheerful presence. David felt a wave of gratitude as he watched her effortlessly interact with Noah, her warmth filling the room. "Can you help me with the decorations, Noah?" Lisa asked, her tone light and inviting. "Yeah!" Noah shouted with delight. The two of them hurriedly gathered streamers and balloons, transforming the living room into a wonderland of shimmering colors. David stepped back for a moment to reflect on their evolving relationship. Despite the hurdles they had faced, witnessing Lisa as a dedicated mother and co-parent filled his heart with hope. Their shared goal of nurturing Noah bound them tightly together, a benevolent force propelling them toward brighter tomorrows. As the party commenced, friends and neighbors gathered in a lively atmosphere, laden with chatter and mirth. Each face sparkled with anticipation, reflecting the camaraderie David had cultivated. He looked around, catching laughter erupting within conversations among children, racing through the living room. "Happy New Year!" the crowd shouted as the clock ticked down, and anticipation filled the air. David held Noah tightly as they joined in the countdown, voices in perfect harmony. 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year! The room erupted in exuberance as confetti rained down, laughter echoing while celebratory hugs went all around. David caught Lisa's eyes for a moment, a joyful glimmer between them, a silent acknowledgement of the path they had traveled. Later that evening, the group settled down as fireworks lit up the night sky outside, illuminating the world in a burst of colors. David and Noah sat on the porch, sharing popcorn while gazing at the dazzling display. "Wow!" Noah exclaimed, eyes wide with wonder. "It's like magic!" David nodded, feeling the warmth of connection swell within him. "Every new year brings new opportunities, kiddo. It's our chance to get excited about what's to come." As they watched the last fireworks finish, David felt resolute in embracing the future. He hoped to explore more adventures with Noah, travel, experience new cultures, and delve deeper into hobbies that fostered self-expression. But more importantly, he yearned to nurture the bond Lisa and Noah were building, ensuring they flourished into a real family unit. The next day, as New Year's resolutions and goals flooded into conversations, David found himself considering new directions for his own growth. He wanted to focus on personal development while continuing to be a pillar of strength for Noah and, to some extent, for Lisa. "Hey, I was thinking," he began one afternoon over coffee with Lisa. "Why don't we plan a family outing every month? Something adventurous where we can explore together." "I love that idea," Lisa beamed, her enthusiasm genuine. "Let's make it a mix. Hiking, trips to museums, maybe even just family movie nights. It'll be great to keep building memories." "Agreed," David nodded, appreciating her collaborative spirit. The two began formulating plans, brainstorming ideas that involved learning and adventure. As winter transformed into spring, their schedules filled with excitement. From nature hikes amidst budding flowers to visits to local museums where they could immerse themselves in art, history, and culture, David felt invigorated by the shared experiences. One Saturday, they set out on a hiking adventure. Fully equipped with snacks, water, and a sense of wonder, they explored a nearby forest trail that spiraled through towering trees and vibrant wildflowers. Noah zipped ahead, his energy boundless as he paused to collect unique rocks and take in the beauty surrounding him. "Look!" he shouted, pointing to a group of deer grazing in a clearing. "They're so cool!" David and Lisa exchanged delighted glances, taking in the wonder through their son's eyes. "This is incredible," David said, appreciating the shared bond they were creating during these excursions. As the days rolled into months, these moments proved to be foundational experiences for Noah, himself exploring the world while finding his footing in relationships. David envisioned a future built on trust, understanding, and the joys of shared adventures, a journey they would navigate together, embracing every twist and turn life presented. During a spontaneous weekend camping trip, nestled beneath starlit skies, their conversations deepened, weaving the fabric of their shared family narrative. David felt gratitude each time they sat around the fire, cooking marshmallows while exchanging stories, laughter mingling with the symphony of nature surrounding them. "Dad, do you think we could go skiing this winter?" Noah asked one evening, eyes lighting up. "Absolutely. I'll teach you all my best moves," David grinned, recalling memories of winter fun from his childhood. "You promise?" Noah beamed, bouncing on his toes. "A promise," David replied, heart warmed by the connection blossoming between them. As spring slipped away, the adventure calendar filled, and they entered summer with open arms, The world seemed filled with endless possibilities. The anticipation of their growing family rituals led to deeper reflections for David and Lisa. With each adventure, their understanding matured. The past remained part of them, but no longer defined who they were today. Instead, they began to install a foundation built on collaboration, empathy, and shared goals. One rainy afternoon, while they returned home from a museum a few towns over, Lisa turned to David, a thoughtful expression on her face. "Can we talk?" "Sure, what's up?" David asked, intrigued. "I've been reflecting on everything, the changes, the outings, and how well we work together as parents," she began, sincerity wrapping around her words. "I know we'll always have challenges, but it means a lot to me that we're creating this environment. I appreciate your willingness to build something new and to prioritize Noah." David smiled, feeling warmth pulse through him. "It's been a journey for all of us, and finding our balance is key. I cherish this dynamic we share, making our son's happiness our biggest priority." "We've come a long way, haven't we?" Lisa reflected, a hint of nostalgia lacing her tone. "Absolutely," David replied, seriousness in his voice. "And I want to build on that. Not just for us, but for Noah too. I'm here for the long haul." Their connection deepened during conversations like these, grounded in honesty and openness. Each discussion represented growth, evolution, and learning. New steps in the journey of forgiveness. As summer rolled in, their adventures took on a life of their own. From beach days collecting seashells to backyard barbecues filled with laughter and friendship, they reveled in the warmth of the season. One day, after coming back from an exhilarating day at the beach, David soaked in the vibrancy of his family enjoying each other. His heart swelled with pride as Noah shared stories of his adventures at school, laughing and recounting anecdotes filled with excitement. Later, when Noah fell asleep, David and Lisa settled down in the living room. The warmth of the summer evening enveloping them, they snuck glances at each other, feeling a growing comfort in shared silence. "You know," Lisa finally said, "I think we're creating the kind of family we both wanted. Despite everything we've gone through, it's something beautiful, really beautiful." David nodded, overwhelmed with emotion. "It's amazing. I feel like we're already a family, and the journey gives me so much hope for our future." As they exchanged smiles, David recognized that together they had crafted enduring ties formed not just from love, but from understanding, acceptance, and the willingness to embrace new beginnings. In those tranquil moments spent together, he felt ready to dive deeper into this new chapter, a commitment not only to each other, but to Noah as they continued to explore the tapestry of their lives, weaving every thread carefully to unfold their story anew. Through all the uncertainty, joy, and emotional transformation, family now embodied connection, love, and most importantly, adventure, guiding them through whatever challenges awaited. United, they would face life head-on, crafting a legacy of resilience, hope, and unwavering love for each other.